So I want to just talk about the stimulus really fast because it's in flux. Trump wants to get people to get 2,000 now. So here it comes. Pelosi bashed for defending new $600 COVID checks as a significant sum. It's significant if I need to fix my freezer door hinge, because that's how $600 would pay for her freezer door hinge. Here she says.
We also have in the legislation direct payments, which were not in the Republican bill, to America's working families. I would like them been bigger, but they are significant, and they will be going out soon.
It's significant. I'd like it to be bigger. This will significantly help working families. It's almost 1/12 of what one of my freezer doors cost. I'm telling you, people, the rest of the free world is stunned at how our government has done almost nothing for the citizens during this pandemic. I have friends in several different countries, and they're all saying the same thing. They cannot believe what they are seeing. They cannot believe what's happening in this country. Other countries are paying people $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. Woman wrote in yesterday, she's in Australia. She's gotten $24,000 from her government already during COVID. Already. This isn't happening in other countries, which is why I'm screaming into a webcam as loud as I can to kind of wake people up. And a lot of people want to make that into a bad thing. I'm not going to ever accept that. I'll scream as loud as I want for as long as I want. Louis Black used to scream his head off every day on The Daily Show, almost foaming at the mouth. Everybody thought it was entertaining because he wasn't really challenging power in a significant way. I love Louis Black. Very, very entertaining. I love Louis Black. I love him. I love his comedy. But the reason why he didn't catch half the flack I do is because he wasn't really challenging power in a significant way. He was being a comedian. Trump, I want $2,000 stimulus checks. You know how many governments should be out-lefted by Trump? 0. But ours just got out-lefted by Trump. The entire government. Trump just out-lefted the entire government. The entire government wanted to give you $600. Trump says we have to give them $2,000. It should be the other way around. Nancy Pelosi should be pushing for $2,000 and Trump should be pushing for $6,000. It was the other way. This is from Public Citizen. They say, so $2,000 checks are controversial, but a $740 billion Pentagon budget isn't. And here is Amy Klobuchar just went on MSNBC to call raising the stimulus to $2,000 per person an attack on every American and suggest Congress override Trump's veto. I'm not making this up. Watch this. Watch this.
And now he's saying that he's going to veto it. There is some nuance to it with him saying that he wants a larger size payment to the American people, which is something that Democrats argued for at every step of the process. And now House Democrats say, okay, well, if that's what he wants, we'll provide him with that. I wonder just what you make of this very last minute scramble of what we thought was going to proceed here with this relief bill.
Well, I think it's kind of messed up that Trump wants to actually help people more. I don't get it. I don't get his angle. That's what they're going to say. Watch this. I mean, that's what she's intimating in her. Isn't that what she's implying in her question? What is Trump up to? Wanting to give people almost 4 times what Nancy Pelosi was going to give them. What is he trying to do?
I kept thinking tonight, well, these pardons are an attack on our very democracy. This is an attack on every American. People who are struggling to get.
She's saying that Trump wanting to give $2,000, she just said is an attack on every American. Do you see this? Do you see this as how MSN? Do you see this?
By right now out of work, whose the unemployment is going to basically end the day after Christmas if this doesn't pass. People who are out of work, people who. So
they're doing that thing again. So what she's trying to do is, Trump wants to delay your relief. That is horrible. We need to give you no relief sooner. And here she is pretending just anything to hate Trump. She's a psychopath. So is Rachel Maddow, but she's actually a psychopath with power. Isn't it amazing Rachel Maddow, with all her power, never started any kind of pressure campaign on politicians to do anything for people? Isn't that amazing? And then she has Amy Klobuchar come on and say that giving people $2,000 instead of $600 is a bad idea, and she doesn't say anything about it. Now, I can criticize Rachel Maddow because I don't have an MSNBC contract. Do you have one, Steph?
I don't have an MSNBC contract, Jimmy.
I can criticize MSNBC and Rachel Maddow because I don't have one. That's why I'm free, as Cornel West said. I'm free. My show is not on the Comcast platform. My show is not on a Comcast platform, and I don't have an MSNBC contract. That's why I'm allowed to tell you the truth about this stuff, and that's why we're allowed to advocate for hashtag force to vote without any bullshit neoliberal talking points. So there she is. That's what she's doing. That's what Amy Klobuchar and Rachel Maddow are doing. They're telling you it's crazy that Trump is attacking you by wanting to give you $2,000. That's what they're saying.
Need the help. The vaccine distribution, Rachel, is in this $30 billion. These vaccines are not going to just parachute into a small town in the middle of Minnesota. We need the help for the states to get the vaccines out. And he is literally undermining our entire effort on testing and vaccine distribution. This was a hard-fought negotiation. Of course, you're right. Democrats were pushing for more funds for the individual payments. But in the end, this was a negotiation. And he knows very well we're reaching the end here with.
She doesn't want to do it. Do you hear what she's saying? The bad deal has already been negotiated. Yeah, and the president wants to give people more money. That is so wrong. That's what she's saying. That's what she's being allowed to say on MSNBC without any pushback. Of course they call me crazy. Of course they come at me. Of course they want to try to dismiss me in every slimy way possible. I'm not getting stoned with Amy Klobuchar, says Marianne Williamson. Good for you, Marianne. I mean, that's really just happened. There's two women trying to tell you they care about you as they screw you, as hard as you can be screwed. I guess some people think $2,000 is better than $600. I have no clue because I make $35,000 a day. Rachel Maddow makes $30,000 to $35,000 a day, and she's pretending she doesn't know that $2,000 is more than $600. Some people want to bicker about which politician to blame and which to praise, while other people are desperate and hoping for the $2,000 so they can make sure they have groceries. Marianne Williamson, God bless her. She's got it. She gets it right. She knows who Amy Klobuchar is. This is David Dayan says, thinking about the difference between Trump emerging from his cocoon to say give everyone $2,000 to Obama's esteemed team of economists slyly designing a plan to reduce tax withholding by $400 but deliberately not tell anyone about it. So he's juxtaposing what Obama's team of economists did was they sneakily slipped in a $400 tax cut. Whereas Trump is trying to get people $2,000 and Dave Dayan is trying to reconcile that in his head. And he can't do it. Trump is only doing this to score political points and set up his 2024 run. Okay, and why don't Democrats do the same thing? That's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to compete. You're supposed to try to outdo each other to help people. So the Democrats should now propose $3,000 so they can win in 2024, right? Nancy Pelosi says, Mr. President, sign the bill to keep government open. Urge McConnell and McCarthy to agree with the Democratic unanimous consent request for $2,000 direct payments. This can be done by noon on Christmas Eve.
Boy, they want to go on recess.
So now that Donald Trump says to do it, now they want to do it. Now Nancy Pelosi says, let's. I guess we can do it. Isn't that kind of amazing? Now they can do it. And they did it, and we don't even have to send money to the Young Turks. Nancy Pelosi is not telling us to send money to the Young Turks to get this done. Cenk Uygur just sent me an email saying you have to send money to the Young Turks so we can get this done. We have to send money to the Young Turks so this happens. That's what Cenk Uygur said.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Here, I wrote a bill. It sounds like we can all agree on it. Rather than 5,600 pages, it's only on 1/9 of one sheet. It says give everyone $2,000. Yes, no. Hey, how soon can I vote for that guy? I'd like to vote for that guy.
Right?
I'd like to vote for that guy. Trump said do $2,000 a month. This is Marianne Williamson. Tonight, and Pelosi said, great, let's do it. Who knows what will happen, but I think Democratic leadership is feeling the heat from a whole lot of people making a whole lot of noise.
Yes.
People have not been docile over the last couple of days, and that's good. So Marion Williamson's on board with hashtag force the vote,
yes,
just so you know. Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks are not.
Join us.
They're blocking hashtag force the vote, Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks, just so you know who they really are. They're not your friend. Marianne Williamson's on board. People have not been docile over the past couple of days, and that's good. I say we need to have a revolution. We need to have some social unrest in this country. They're not giving you health care. You don't think what? They're not giving you health care in the middle of a deadly pandemic? Trump outlefts Nancy Pelosi easily? And the squad's going to vote for Nancy Pelosi. Who's to the right of Trump? Donald Trump is right. $600 is not nearly enough, but $2,000 isn't either. That's the whole point.
No kidding.
When Bernie Sanders was pushing for a $1,200 payment, I was asking, why is Bernie Sanders not pushing for a solution? If you're going to push for something, push for the solution and then compromise. He pushed for $1,200, which was already a compromise position, and then he ended up with $600. Just like we said, Bernie Sanders is the worst leader in the world. Jon Ossoff says $1,200 checks now. That's December 19th. That's what Jon Ossoff was saying. Then Trump says, let's get $2,000. Democrats seize on Trump's push for $2,000 stimulus checks for boost in Georgia's Senate race. Guess what? Now Jon Ossoff says $2,000 checks. He's just doing whatever Trump says. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, wow.
Winkle says the president and the vice president-elect sure are quiet about this whole $2,000 thingy.
Aren't they?
And why is that, you think? Do you want to know why they're so quiet on it, the Democrats? Because, again, it's Trump. It's weird. Trump is out lefting the Democrats and Joe Biden because Joe Biden put the kibosh on you getting $2,000. What? Well, this is from the New York Times. With the Republican and Democrat leaders in the House and Senate far apart on how much they were willing to accept in a new pandemic spending, Mr. Biden on December 2nd threw his support behind the $900 billion plan being pushed by the centrist group. So Joe Biden said, let's go with the $900 billion plan and not the 1.89 or whatever, which was which would give you more relief. Joe Biden went conservative. He went to the right. The total was less than half of what the $2 trillion that Nancy Pelosi, the speaker, wanted and Senator Chuck Schumer wanted. And then they had been insisting on. So they wanted that $2 trillion, but Joe Biden said, fuck you, I'm going to go with a $900 billion plan. Yes. So Mr. Biden's move was not without risk. If it had failed to affect the discussions, the president-elect risked looking powerless to move Congress before he had taken the oath of office. So if he had failed to affect the discussion, so if Joe Biden didn't weigh in on this pandemic stimulus thing, he would look feckless. He would look like he was out to lunch, which he is.
Boy.
So he weighed in on the wrong side, and he said, let's give him the shitty stimulus. And why is that important? That's important because members of both parties says his intervention was constructive and gave Democrats confidence to pull back from their demands.
Ugh.
So otherwise, the Democrats were being pressured by their constituents to give them $2,000 and to fight for it. But when Joe Biden came out and said, fuck that, we're giving them the shitty $600, that made all the Democrats go, well, we can just say Biden told us to do this, and that gave them cover. Just like Bill Clinton gave Democrats cover to vote for NAFTA. This is Joe Biden giving Democrats cover to do the shitty thing. And then Trump came out and fucked them all. And made them look exactly what they are. Tools of the corporation there to screw you. That's what they are. Some people would say that's too strong. It's not. So this is AOC. She tweets out the Hollywood Reporter, which said the COVID-19 stimulus bill would make it illegal to stream, illegal streaming a felony. She says this is why Congress needs time to actually read the package before voting on it. Members of Congress have not read this bill. It's over 5,000 pages. It arrived at 2 p.m. today, and we are told to expect a vote on it in 2 hours. This isn't governance. It's hostage taking. And I agree with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but here's the rub on that. Progressive hero AOC voted for that $900 billion stimulus bill she admittedly didn't have time to read, but she won't force a floor vote on Medicare for all. Are you happy with her? Do you think you should be nicer to her, or you think we should rake her over the coals? You think you should be nicer? Do you think it would help if progressive news hosts were nicer to the progressives who are currently screwing you? Or do you think we should make them scared to fucking death? Why did AOC, Ilhan Omar, and Ayanna Pressley vote for the stimulus bill? What the fuck? Only Tulsi and Rashida voted against it. You tell me. I have the same questions. Funny how all the dumbasses who voted for the $600 are trying to claim credit for the $2,000 idea. Isn't that amazing? Do you see that happening? Because I do. No brunch, no eggnog, no sleep until the House and the Senate pass direct payments of $2,000 and $4,000 for couples. Hashtag force the vote. What? What do you mean hashtag force the vote? So this is Warren Gunnell. Are you trying to co-opt the hashtag force the vote and use it for something else? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And where is Bernie Sanders on hashtag force the vote, Warren? Why isn't he stepping up to lend his voice to this? Because you and Bernie Sanders are all feckless fucks, and you don't fight for shit. And then you try to co-opt something and try to derail people from it. Why don't you get hashtag force to vote Medicare for all and get your boss, Bernie Sanders, to get on board with it because it's his fucking signature issue. What a lot of my comrades on the left forget is that for all the negatives, Nancy Pelosi is a master at working the system to get the best deal and knows how to message to ensure optimal Democratic victories in elections. Oh, wait, never mind. Hashtag force the vote. Pete ran Bernie Sanders' campaign in Iowa both times, just so you know. He's for hashtag force the vote. Warren Gunnels, who works for Bernie, wants to distract you. And Bernie Sanders is nowhere to be found with hashtag force the vote. Isn't that interesting? Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.